It's that time of year again where America sits down to watch 16 ish people vie for power in elaborate competitions, form deep, meaningful connections, betray those connections, maybe even find love, and through it all, share one toilet, maybe two if the HOH is feeling generous. Big Brother is back. It's a
The
sick
week
game and you love to
began
watch
as
it.
they always do.
Let's go over week
with
one
sort of a
in the
meet
Big
the
Brother
team.
28 house. Of course, Julie Chen brought us through the house. It's sort of got a retro futurism, time travel design. And then we met our players. Julie Chen, first of all, benevolent, obsessed with her. Does she stand by her abuser husband? Oh, for sure. Is she a good person? Probably not. But is she a damn good host? Yes. She walks us through. She eyes the camera. She knows her angles. Was she a little shaky on the live eviction? Give her a break. It's the first eviction of the season. But that's at the end of the week. Let's go back to the first. They kind of cut it out with the live first episode format, which I appreciated. It streamlined the watching experience. We met all our players, but we didn't spend an inordinate amount of time learning about them outside of the game. What matters is them inside. But a couple people that stood out. Chuck, a Nigerian cowboy who's buff and has an interesting manner of speaking. Is he on the spectrum? That's none of my business. Haley, she's buff, she likes horses. Latrice, she's 50 something and she's jacked. Also, about of this 14-person cast, maybe like 5 of them are from New Jersey, which is just a crazy ratio. There's a little rocket science nerd girl. Okay, we're getting an archetype. There's Kamu, the meathead fighter guy who's sensitive, actually. There's also a few individuals who have been on reality TV before. Notably Jason, who competed as Selena S. Titties in Drag Race. Let it be known, they could not say the S. Titties part on CBS. There's also a gal named Lyric. She is from Hawaii and she is an eviction lawyer. Hate to say it, I think she's on the wrong side of that profession, morally and ethically speaking. Things to know. Notably, we're kind of missing the mama character. Latrice is 50 something, older gal. Usually she would fill that void, but the way they were selling her character was more as this spunky, hilarious archetype, I suppose. Notably, we're also missing the father figure. All these men are less than 30 years old. All these women are less than 4 feet tall, it seems. Notably, no fat people. Notably, one gay person. Lots of white people. Big Brother is an interesting take on who is acceptable in society, what ratio is accepted. The casting speaks volumes. The cast of the season that featured the cookout, 50% of that cast was black, or at least when that alliance was formed. In this case, we have 2 black women, Taylor, who is a teacher, or maybe a kindergarten preschool teacher, I believe, and Latrice. Only one black man, There's a lot of people from Hawaii and a lot of people from New Jersey. And even the Hawaiian gal, I mean, she's got blue eyes. And she's an eviction lawyer. And her dad's quote unquote a pop star. He had one hit. I played it for my parents. They didn't know all the words, but they were like, I'd never recognize him on the street. Anywho, everybody comes into the house. They're immediately introduced to this time travel dinner table. The dinner table is where nomination ceremonies happen. It's a distinct part of the game. It's a staple, really. I appreciate that they're finding a way to use it and they're leaning into the corniness of time travel and editing and the things that people appreciate Big Brother for. It's not the real world. It is staged and people have to like pretend that they've just traveled through time. I appreciate that. But they have to bring back these icons. 3 new players will be entering the game. Okay? Alongside our cast of characters. They compete in this like get the BB juice, put it in the thing competition, which is kind of just hide and seek in a way. Hide and go veto, should I say. And 12 people qualify for it out of the 14 cast members. The 2 who don't are Ashley. She is like a very exaggerative speaker. She makes crazy facial expressions. You're either going to love her or you're going to hate her. The other person who doesn't qualify is Barrett. He's about 1 million feet tall. And if you picture a man from Portland, Oregon, who is in a queer relationship with a bisexual woman, you're picturing Barrett. He's got a curly mullet. He's got a mustache. He's wearing overalls, okay? Them 2 don't qualify. They're split up into 4 groups. Or, excuse me, 3 groups of 4. Within those groups, they compete for safety and to bring back their icon. So 3 people in total will be safe for the first week. In the first group, pickleball coach, guy who also has a mustache, Rome, that's his name, wins safety. Second competition, the cowboy guy, Chuck with a K, no C, Chuk, which is short for his Nigerian name, he wins. And he like blows them all out of the water. Third competition, Jason, the drag queen gay guy, wins. All of these people are safe, and all of them in their themed individual competitions bring back an icon. The first is Angela. Angela competed 2 summers ago, and she was kind of controversial. She was super annoying, made it to Final 6, and by super annoying, I mean she was great TV. She made a great villain. You loved to hate her, or you just loved her, period. She did make a sort of racially charged joke. Not even a joke. She had a fight. She was the HOH the first week of her season, and she got into it with this Asian, I believe he was Filipino guy, who was kind of the bombshell of the season. Tall, handsome baseball player, I believe. And she called him Crazy Eyes and used her hands to move her eyelids. I'm distrustful of her and I am so confused about the casting choice. That being said, she's bound to blow up. And in that way, it's very entertaining. I have no idea why she subjected herself to this again, but here she is. Next is Devins, Rick Devins. So he's a newscaster who has played on Survivor now twice. He was just on season 50. He did okay. He did pretty good. He made one of the most iconic TV moments where he flipped a coin and bumped up the prize money from 1 million to 2 million via Mr. Beast, which is a whole nother story. He's a strategist, he's crazy, he is scheming and conniving, but he's so lovable. Rick Devins is in the game. The third icon is supposedly Rachel Riley. She just came back last season. She is a drama queen. She is fabulous. She is ridiculous. And she has won Big Brother. She won, I think, the first All-Stars season, or it might have been the second one. So the 3 icons who have been brought into the game get to compete for the first HOH. It's sort of a Survivor challenge almost. You hold ropes and balance something, a puzzle in the shape of fire. But before that can even happen, a dinosaur comes in and eats Rachel Riley. Or not eats her, throws her into a volcano. And the real icon is brought out. It's Dee. Dee from Survivor. She won her original season. She's an amazing strategist, and her strength is just letting people expose themselves. She's an amazing competitor, but she really is an amazing strategist. She sees through people. She also competed on Survivor 50 with Rick Devens, so they have a previous relationship. That being said, Rick Devens voted her out, so could be troublesome. During this competition, within the groups of 4 who had competed in each individual safety comp, they were the ones holding the ropes that were holding the platform that the icons had to stack their puzzles atop. Notably, Yosh, who was a last-minute replacement house guest, he really helped Dee and advised her through the puzzle. She was like, hey, listen, we're all safe this week. You're good. And she ended up stacking her puzzle the highest, and she won. The team that stacked their puzzle the least high would end up being have-nots for the week. That ended up being Rick Devens' team. This led us to seeing the have-not room. It's a horrible room that is uncomfortable and that the have-nots of the week have to stay in. It was a medieval torture room. That was the theme. And they have to all sleep on this slowly rotating wooden bed. It looked horrible. But anyway, so Devens lost and Dee won. Yay. Maybe bad news for Devens. He did burn her in the last competition game they played. Luckily for him, Dee wants to work with him. She also wants to work with Angela, but the core is Devens and Dee. And they are going to go on to create 2 alliances. The first one is kind of the meathead alliance. Haley, the horse girl, who's buff. Kamu, the MMA fighter, who's buff. Chuck, the cowboy, who's buff. And Dee and Devens. And Devens isn't buff, but now he's so lovable. Who cares? Dee is smart. She lets Kamu think it's all his idea. They even name the alliance something fighting related, like, and the champion coming out of the red corner. That's why they name their alliance the Red Corner. To Dee and Devens, this alliance is kind of a sham, kind of a meat shield, because the true alliance is something called the crossovers. This includes our Portland, Oregon look-alike, Barrett, this guy who seems like he's the younger brother on a Nickelodeon show, Drew, Angela, the crazy lady, Devens and Dee. So Devens and Dee find themselves in 2 alliances of 5. They've positioned themselves pretty well, but Devens and Dee have true loyalty to the crossover alliance. Devens takes it upon himself to inform Drew, the Nickelodeon guy, and Barrett, the Portland, Oregon guy, like, oh, there's this other alliance, but they're fake, just to keep you in the loop. And Dee is like, why did you do that? Why did you say that? You messed up big time. So he's kind of in the doghouse, but it works out all right. This has built immense trust with Drew, who will go on to sort of be an informant for the crossovers. Barrett is a little more hesitant. He realizes they made this alliance and then told him he was a part of it. He was not involved in the inception. This to him is innately suspicious, and he knows where he lands in the totem pole. Otherwise, in the house, there are relationships forming. There's 3 girls who really like each other. That's Lyric. She's the Hawaiian eviction lawyer. There's Melody, who is this blonde Amanda Seyfried, if that's how you say her name, lookalike, who is kind of a stand-up comic / corporate game show host gal. And then Melanie, which Big Brother casters, it's a little confusing that they have the same name. Melanie is a NASA nerd rocket scientist. She doesn't tell them this. She gives one of those fake jobs that's like a I'm not going to reveal that that I'm a rocket scientist, but they hang out, they get along, and they're hanging out a lot. They're hanging out very publicly, and people start to assume that they are an alliance, even though they never put pen to paper. Otherwise, Lyric is kind of interested in the pickleball coach guy, Roan. On day 2, they're kissing. They're a showmance, and they think they're being subtle, but everyone can see it. It's getting close to when Dee will have to decide her nominations. She will nominate 3 people. Those people will have an opportunity to play in the veto alongside Dee and 2 other house guests. If one of those people come off, Dee will have to name a replacement nominee. And then on eviction night, whoever is still on the block out of those 3 or a potential replacement will compete in the BB Blockbuster and have a chance to get themselves off last minute live on air. How juicy. Dee has a lot to consider. Nobody has been a big personality who is an easy out. If anything, the 3 icons of Angela, Devins, and Dee would have been the easy noms, but she's aligned herself with them. So that's not an option. Her alliances are coming to her with all these ideas. Some of them are even suggesting members of the other. Dee decides she's going to do as little damage as she can. She's going to feign a sort of democratic choice of choosing one person from each of the groups of 4. So one person who played in the Angela competition, one person who played in the Devins competition, and one person who played in the D competition. Kamu, member of the Red Corners, says, "Oh, are you sure you want to put someone up from your own group? You might want to save face and do one of the 2 people who did not compete at all. That would have been Ashley or Barrett." She says, I don't know. I want to save face with my alliances. I want to save face with the people not in my alliances. I'm not sure what I'm going to do. There is a moment when rocket scientist girl realizes, I might be in trouble. I haven't talked game with Dee at all. I haven't talked at all with her, period. So she goes up to the HOH room and gets the dirtiest, nastiest edit I've ever seen. Seemingly, she is sharing with Dee about her life, about herself, about her dreams of traveling the world, all the while Dee is, at the very least, edited to seem deeply uninterested. In the diary room, Dee says she's not talking game with me at all. This is not a good sign. So when it comes to the time to make her nominations, Dee says, Mallory, the rocket scientist, you're one of my nominees. Taylor, you're one of my nominees. Yosh, you're one of my nominees. One from each group. Taylor, we haven't talked very much game. It's true. Taylor has gotten very little screen time. Yosh, he was the one person in her HOH group that she wasn't actively in an alliance with. And then Mallory, we just don't get along. We haven't talked game at all. Mallory, gutted, crying at the table. Taylor, very smartly, says, I'm going to do a poker face. I'm going to not care about this at all. Good thinking, Taylor. Yosh is pissed. He's pissed because during the HOH competition, Dee offhandedly said, you guys are good. If I win, you guys are good. And he played an integral role in her winning that HOH. Ashley and Barrett are thinking, thank God I dodged that, but should the veto be used, maybe I'll go up instead because I'm the only option. Really, Ashley's the only one thinking this, as Barrett is in an alliance with her and not worried. So Mallory's a wreck. She's crying, and her 2 gal pals, Melody and Lyric, are comforting her, but also realizing, maybe if she comes off the block, I'm going to go up because we're friends. And they start to slowly pull themselves away. In fact, they go up to Dee's HOH suite. And they say, just so you know, like, we're not actually that close of friends. In an attempt to distance themselves in the eyes of D. In doing so, D has realized, or at the very least thought, oh, they're actually closer than I ever even knew. Because they felt the need to distance themselves. D thinks a couple steps ahead. That's something I appreciate about her in a game like this. It might become troublesome for her down the road because she's so good, but for now she's playing an excellent first week of HOH, getting the least amount of blood on her hands. So right now, there's 3 people on the block, and it's time for the veto competition. D will pull chips out of a bag. Each chip has the name of one of the house guests who are eligible to play. So right now, that is everybody in the house, including D and the 3 nominees. Should she select the name of someone who is already going to play, D, or one of the 3 nominees, that person will get to select the replacement. But that doesn't happen. She selects Barrett's chip, the Oregon tall guy, and she selects Melody's chip, the blonde Amanda Seyfried girl. So Mallory is hearing this and thinking, great. Melody would use it on me, and I think I can get Barrett to use it on me too. She has no idea Barrett is completely aligned with D. In the pantry, she even says, oh my god, if you win, like, you should totally use it on me. And he says, ha ha, right. Big mistake, because now he's like, uh-oh, if I win this, she thinks I'm going to use it on her, and I am absolutely not going to do that. She goes to Melody and is like, girl, like, I'm so glad you got picked. Like, you're going to take me off, right? Melody says, like, it's complicated. Obviously meaning no. Basically, from what the editing is telling us, Melanie is the target. The nerd girl is the target. Yash is sort of a secondary target. He's made it known to D that he's pissed. And Taylor is whatever, which is a great spot to be in if you're on the block week 1. Before you know it, it's time for the veto competition. Howie, a previous player, which is very on theme with this historic past, future, present theme throughout the house, arrives. He's dressed like the Terminator. He's looking like the ghost of Christmas past. But really, he's from the future. And in the future, Dr. Will, who was a genius but evil player from the Big Brother catalog, has taken over the world, and he's selling Will Tox because Dr. Will was a aesthetic dermatologist and a former winner. And he said how we should get some. So anyway, in the future, he's selling Will Tox, and it makes you immortal, and he's immortal, and it's the future, whatever. And the veto players have to connect time tubes to send Dr. Will back in time so how we can defeat him or whatever. It's convoluted. Who really cares? The competition involves using PVC pipes of different lengths and sizes to follow along a path of suspended hoops. It has to pass through the continuous line of pipes that the players have to pass through every single suspended hoop and then plug back into the dining table time machine. Essentially what they're doing is a puzzle, but a puzzle that doesn't have one answer. It could have many answers. In this competition, the editing tries to make it seem competitive. The other person who could potentially have a horse in the race would be Yash. He did pretty well, but Mallory, this NASA scientist nerd, blows everybody out of the water, ensuring her safety. It's kind of a no-brainer. She's definitely going to use it on herself. So for the rest of the episode, it's sort of a telling different storylines. Who else is a potential nominee? Because Dee's in a sticky situation. She is of 2 minds. She could put up Melody because she's connected to Melanie. Or she could put up Ashley. Ashley didn't compete in the HOH competition. That fits into her democratic thinking. She also hasn't made any strategic connections in the house. She's well liked. I mean, she had her first burger ever live on air. Not live, but you know. She's zany, she's weird, but she's not well connected. So it would be less blood one way, but it might be a more strategic move the other way. She's thinking long term versus short term. Simultaneously, we see a kind of crazy strategic move from Jason. Jason is the drag queen. He is the one who cried in Angela's arms on day one, being like, I haven't been around this many straight people in forever. And Angela comforts him big time. They have another scene like this where Jason is kind of having a hard time. He's thinking about his mother who recently passed. Angela is comforting him. He's like, God sent you. I don't even know if he threw God in there. You've been sent here for me because I needed you, and vice versa. It's a very reciprocal moment. And she's like, you know what? After hugging it out, she says, I'll let you rest. The second she's out of sight, he's pulling down his shades. It was all an act. He is playing up this maternal instinct that he sees within Angela by making her pity him and see, perhaps, her son in him, because her son had recently come out as gay after her season. This is crazy, but kind of a good strategy. Is it morally right? Who cares? It's Big Brother. But then Jason goes on to talk outside with Melody, the blonde one, and Drew, the Nickelodeon younger brother. And he's like, ha ha ha, we should be the jesters, the court jesters as an alliance together because we all are funny. And they're like, sure, yeah, whatever. And Drew is like, well, I'm in an alliance with HOH. I probably should tell her all about this. And he then goes on, Jason goes on to say, and I'm playing Angela like a freaking fiddle. Uh-oh. Now Drew has what he feels like a moral responsibility and a strategic responsibility to tell his alliance what's going on. Jason kind of messed up in this moment. He really shouldn't have told them, but now there's this sort of pseudo-alliance of the court jesters going on. Drew does tell Devins and Angela, because Jason had mentioned also going after Devins and Angela. So he talks to them, Drew talks to them and says, this is what's going on, this is what happened. And Angela has a moment where you can see her desire to explode, rise up, and then simmer down. This is an immense growth from our previous season where she would absolutely have blown up her alliance, would have blown up Jason in front of everybody. Instead, she says, I'm going to play him back, but harder. This sets up a beautiful cat and mouse of, we're playing each other, but we know we're playing each other, but do I know that you know that I know? Which should be interesting in the coming weeks. But Jason is safe this week. If he wasn't, he almost assuredly would have been on the block, so he's playing a little sloppy. When it comes time for the veto ceremony, very easily, Melanie says, I'm taking myself off. Great, good for you, girl. The replacement nominee is Ashley. She doesn't have many connections, and it's the less bloody option. Melody has had some strong friendships, potentially even strategic relationships coming up. I think it's the right decision, and Ashley goes on the block. So on eviction night, it will be Yash, Ashley, and Taylor on the block. The big consensus now is, okay, we know it's not Taylor, but the argument goes for Yash. It goes for Ashley. What are they going to do? Well, that's what we're going to figure out at the next episode. We're on to episode 3 of season 28 of Big Freaking Brother. So, 3 people are up for eviction. Who are you going to choose? With the BB Blockbuster, one of these people has the opportunity to take themselves off, and then you only have about a minute before the voting begins. So you have to think through all combinations. If Ashley wins, it's going to be Taylor and Yash on the block. What do you do then? And that same goes for every combination of players. During this episode, we get to learn a little bit more about the other side of the house. We've been seeing a lot of D, a lot of Devins. Now we're seeing Rome, the pickleball player, and his supposed empire. Kamu is the MMA fighter, and he is playing really hard, really fast. Usually it backfires. We'll see if it does for him. He notices Rome is always in the gym, and he's always calling people in for quote unquote workouts. He believes it is the covert meeting space of the other half of the house. And he believes this because Angela tells him that's what's going on. He's seeing it a little bit, but Angela is like, they're all meeting all together and you're not invited. She's crazy, but she's right, kind of. Rome has formed an alliance, notably without a showmance, which is kind of bold, but it is only day 6-ish, called Mama's Angels. And that includes Latrice, who is our 50-plus bodybuilder, Jason, the drag queen, and himself. So him and Jason are supposedly Latrice's angels, I guess? Whatever. Quote unquote, that side of the house involves a lot of loose players. They are not nearly as organized as Dee's side of the house, but they're being viewed as a monolith who are all going to vote together. So that would be Lyric, Rome, Melanie, now that she's off the block, Latrice, Rome, and Jason. And Taylor, who's on the block, is being viewed as part of that half, which is fair. She has a tight thing going on with Latrice and Jason. She seems to be developing relationships with that side of the house. It's likely that they will all vote for Taylor to stay no matter what. The other side of the house, led by Dee, are more of a mixed bag. Ashley, she's not a threat. She's not. She hasn't formed strategic relationships. That being said, if Yash was evicted, which is sort of the other option they're tinkering with, the ratio of men to women would grow more significant. So because there was 14 original players, 7 men, 7 women, and 3 icons came in, 2 of which were women, the women now outnumber the men. There's this weird conversation with Yash and Kamu and Chuck where they're kind of speaking misogynistically, or just in this weird like men versus women gender war situation, which is just kind of an uncomfortable situation to watch. But the men in that conversation are kind of like, yeah, we got to stay together or whatever. So that's Kamu and Chuck, who are in the Red Corner Alliance with Dee. Dee, however, is thinking maybe it would be a better idea to get Yash out. He's more of a physical threat. But she has to make it seem like it's their idea. That's how she's treating these people, with sort of kid gloves, but at the same time, the gloves of the puppeteer. And so, miraculously, the situation does arise where she convinces Kamu, hey, you know Rome, who's running the other half of the house? Him and Yash are besties. Do we really want to keep an adversary in the house? And so she does convince him to vote out Yash. Everyone is kind of deciding Taylor's going to stay no matter what. And if it's Yash and Ashley, Yash has to go. If it's Yash and Taylor, Yash goes. If it's Ashley and Taylor, Ashley goes. So the situation really comes up where it's going to be Yash. And they tell Ashley this. They're sort of like, we got you, this many people have you, and these are the names. Haley, the horse girl, gives names, revealing everybody who's aligned together. Ashley takes this, and she goes to Melody, the blonde girl, famously on the other side of the house, and is like, listen, I have the numbers, you should vote with me. And Melody's like, oh, who are the numbers? And Ashley reveals every single person on the other side of the house who are aligned. I didn't even know if she's intending to do so, but Melody's like, oh my god, I gotta tell everybody. And so she does. And then this does end up getting back to Dee. And Dee is like, man, Ashley, I wanted to root for you, but I think it has to be you tonight. Anyway, who knows if Ashley will even be on the block, because the blockbuster has yet to be played. The blockbuster is a live competition, usually takes about 2 minutes. In this case, it involves pictures showing photoshopped scenes where the house guests are all wearing hairdos from different time frames. who appears the most often in these images because not all house guests are in all pictures. As a viewer, I saw a lot of Chuck, Devins, Mallory. If multiple people get the same right answer, it's whoever locks it in first. Yash locks in first with Mallory. Taylor locks in next with Devins. Ashley locks in third with Devins. She has no way of winning the competition. But who appeared more? Devins or Mallory? Turns out Yash was right. Mallory was in it the most, so he is off the block, and now eviction night is between Ashley and Taylor. We have no reason to believe they're going to keep Ashley, and that's exactly what happened. It is a 14-0 vote for Ashley to get out the door. They both gave kind of uninspired speeches. Both of them were just like, please keep me. Anyway, she's evicted. She goes to Julie. Julie is like, do you wish you made a better speech? And Ashley says, I don't think it would have changed their minds. You know, it could have gone either way. Very casual approach, and it led to a very casual eviction. She had a fun and brief run and was the first person evicted from season 28 of Big Brother. All right, that is all for Big Brother season 28, week 1 recap. At the end of the episode, Julie teased a BB time capsule where America can vote someone in to get a reward or a punishment based on if they succeed at a game. And the reward or punishment is certainly going to come from the BB catalog. I'm personally both hoping for my sake and dreading for the sake of the contestants. Should someone get the punishment that Sam got, where she got turned into a robot? Because that seems god awful. But we'll find out next week on Big Brother.